Before you start to sew up anything using a stretch fabric, it is best to test your stretch stitch on a piece of unwanted fabric first. You can't use a normal straight stitch on a stretch fabric because when the seam is put under stress or pressure, the stitching will simply pop and break. The most basic stitch that will stretch with the fabric is a zigzag. I do recommend testing your stitch length and width on unwanted fabric before sewing to ensure that you get the settings just right. Setting your stitch length at around 2.5 or average and your stitch width at about 3, which is a little over halfway, should give you a nice finished seam, but all machines are different and it is best to test first. Most machines have a stretch stitch, the simplest of which is usually a combination of a straight stitch and zigzag. The stretch stitch on my banana seems to work backwards. By this I mean that the right hand side edge is the finished edge, which the flattest edge when turned in the right way. This means I will need to sew the finished seam edge on the right hand side of the needle. If I had not tested this first, I suspect I would have sewn it the wrong way round and ended up with a seam with lots of gaps in it, where the zigzag edge extended. Alternatively, an overlocker or serger stitch also stretches and has the added benefit of neating your seam edge as you sew. Most beginner sewers will not have access to an overlocker or serger, and a zigzag or stretch stitch will work just fine. Finally, you can use a double needle. Double needles are usually used for top stitching stretch fabrics, but they can also be used to sew a stretch seam. So don't be afraid of stretch stitching. You do have a number of options available to you. If you're lucky enough to have access to an overlocker or serger, then I suggest you use that. It is simple and tidy. But you can use a twin needle, a stretch stitch or a zigzag. But I certainly recommend you have a trial on some unwanted fabric before you start sewing up your garment.